When I tell you these units got buffed tremendously, I mean it. I spent a good, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes just going, 40 even, going over these buffs. And oh my god, I even got a chance to use Geto. And genuinely, bro, if you summon for him now just because of his future buffs, I understand you. Because he transforms into a completely different unit. And they made Yuta insane. So for today's video, we're focusing on 3 units. The 3 best ones, in my opinion, being Yuta's buff, Geto's buff, and Maki, bro. They actually did her justice. They did her justice. Thank fucking God. So we're going to start with Yuta because that's the one I know y'all want to get to already. But listen, I would not sleep on Geto. I genuinely think Geto is now an S+ tier unit. I'm not even kidding. It's that good. Okay, we have both of them translated in the new kits. So I do want to say thank you to Nameless. Okay, Nameless did the translating. So big thank you because he did this so quick, so fucking quick. All right, let's start with Yuta. So, bro, his initial cursed energy is 70. 70. 70. Are you kidding? Like, this is insane, right? Absolutely insane. Really good stuff. So just giving an extra 70, like 30, makes like the dupe 2 kind of pointless. Like starting at 70, it's going to be very hard to run out. Very, very hard. Now, the skill 1 changed slightly. It got a bit of a damage increase. It got a 90% damage increase. You're not seeing it much anyway now, especially because of this. But still. Now, the skill 2, they transformed this. So it used to be 135, then put crit res, and then could insta-kill. Do you see the Bible it became? So now it got a bit of a damage increase, but depending on how much cursed energy you have, you can get up to a 90% increase when you're at 60 cursed energy, right? Which you start off at 70 to be fair. So turn 1, you're getting this, but then increases all enemies Jujutsu damage received by 14%, and at 60 cursed energy, it goes up to 35. 35%. This is new. This is new. Like, it's insane. This skill 2 became very good, like very good, right? Now, why this is so big is because you could stack this twice if Yuta's in front of another unit who has an ult. Like, for example, if you use him on like a rainbow team and have him next to a Gojo, another Gojo, because red Gojo doesn't have a damage ult, like green Gojo, right? This would be a 35 and a 35 stack extra AoE, right? Which is why it's so good. But then this also helps you to do more damage. So huge. Now this got like it just changed the numbers a bit, like by 1 or 2%. So it doesn't really matter. Now the ult did not change, which is fine because they even did some crazy shit where they added him another passive where when he performs a Black Flash, which you could do with the skill 3 very easily because he has like 5 hits there. When he does a Black Flash, you get a 20% Jujutsu damage increase for 3 turns. So the optimal rotation for the ult. You use your skill 3 to get as many hits in to try and get a Black Flash. Then you use the skill 2 to get the Jujutsu damage increase. Now, when you use these 2 back-to-back, you'll get the 20% Jujutsu increase. And then you're going to get the 35% damage increase. Then after that, you get the ult. So from this, that's a 35 and a 20% buff. That's basically over, if it's multiplicative, it's essentially like about a 60% buff. And if it's additive, it's about a 55% buff to his ult, right? Just extra. So very good stuff. But then also Yuta becomes more of a support also because of this. So Yuta, like really good changes. I mean, he takes a more offensive role if you want, but also a more supportive role while still healing. So it's actually insane what they did to Yuta. Like, they really wanted people to summon on him, and this is definitely a way to do that. Now, bro, oh my god, I think he's my favorite blue unit now. There's not much competition, but he's my favorite blue unit. So they didn't change anything there. He gets 20 cursed energy, which means he's going to be getting a lot of cursed energy, but he's going to need it. Okay. So, bro, did you see that? Did you see that? Like, what? Like, what? So, he increases his own crit rate by 5. We're going to make sure they're both level 10. Increases his own crit rate by 5% and up to 65% crit rate at 60 cursed energy. Okay. Now, he deals 180% taijutsu. Used to be same shit. Okay. But now, if his cursed energy is at 60, max of 60, he gets a 60% taijutsu damage increase. Huge. You won't use this much, but huge. And then increases all jujutsu damage by 15% for 3 turns, which allows you to stack if own cursed energy is 60 or above. So if you want to basically play it safe before your ult, just get this. That's great. But this is the best buff I've ever seen. Like I think in a game period, like this is insane. So before, if your own cursed energy was 30 or above, you got this. If it was 40 or above, you got this, right? It just gives it to you. It just gives it to you. So it does more damage, and then you just decrease their damage up to 35%, okay? Increases damage decreased, so you lower their damage. But then the bigger buff is this. It used to be a 33% damage increase, and now it's just an outright up to 50% damage increase that you're doing. Jujutsu damage. So, yeah. They basically made it, no matter what cursed energy you're at, you're going to get these. Like, even if you're at, like, 25, you're going to get both of these. Where before, if you're at 25, you didn't get any of these. But if you're at 50, or if you're at 60, then you get an even bigger buff than before, and it does more damage. So yeah, it's absolutely huge. It's insane. But then it gets crazier because, bro, of course, it's another Bible, right? So it used to only do 120% AoE, and then it had a damage increase, which we had no idea what it was. But now it's a 10% damage increase, one time guaranteed. And then when you're at 60 cursed energy, it's another 100% damage increase. The base damage was upgraded from 120 to 200, and then increases all enemies' damage received by 10%, okay, up to 30. So this becomes an AoE 30% damage increase. Like, obviously you have to be at 60 energy, but remember, if you could put him with Kaido, by the way, which might be really good, but he still gets 20 every turn. So it's like he's getting a damage increase just built in, doing more damage, and this is a spammable AoE. So like Geto's good for grinding now, probably one of the best grinding units. And then he also just has a double AoE, and they're both really strong, and he's basically one of the best supports now. But then it gets crazier. It somehow gets crazier. Because it was a 329% ult with a damage increase. And then it reduces own cursed energy to 0. Okay? But now, 20% damage increase built in. Then another 200% damage increase at 60 cursed energy. Makes sense. Then it doubles the ult damage. And then it also increases Jujutsu damage by 30%. I'm pretty sure that is only on the ult. And then reduces own cursed energy by 60 when ult is performed. Okay. So it doesn't bring you down to 0. Like, let's say you're at 90, you're still going to be at 30 cursed energy. So basically, before the ult, you save up your cursed energy so that you're able to use it. What you could do, use the skill 1. The skill 1's still going to give you a 15% buff. And you can use this twice. And then after you ult. And then the ult becomes a nuke now. Because it's a 760, sure. 20% damage increase, 200% damage increase, 30% Jujutsu increase. So technically, that's at like almost 2,000%. I mean, like, listen. When you count all this, alongside the fact he's able to debuff, like, it's really good. He became absolutely amazing. And they didn't change anything here. So Geto, like, genuinely, like, for blues, considering there's no other good blues besides maybe Miguel. Remember, Miguel is coming out in 2 hours for me, so we'll see how he fares. But nah, these units were insane. They were handled so well. So well. Absolutely amazing. So besides those two, now we have to talk about Maki, who actually, Nameless, did post my GOAT. So what did they change? Let's talk about it. Basically, this damage was increased a bit. All right. Now, this damage was increased very slightly. Like, very slightly. Doesn't really matter. The AoE, though, massively increased. And this is very good, but there's a cooldown. I don't even know if we've had this, but that's fine. I'm actually fine with that. Now, this got a bit of a buff. Now, you're like, okay, but where's the buff? Where's the buff? Here's the buff, bro. So at the start of the battle, you recover 2% HP each turn, which is new, and then reduces damage received, which is interesting. It's just extra, right? But the crazy thing is, increases own taijutsu damage depending on how many enemies are in the wave. Guys, if there's 4 enemies, you get a 123% damage increase. Before, like, you would get the max of a 60% damage increase. They just doubled that. They fucking doubled that. So yeah, that's really good. And considering that the AoE also doubled damage, you could imagine. And then at the start of the wave, they also added taijutsu damage, 10% for 2 turns. And so this could stack twice, which before it did not stack. It was only 10%, but now it's 10% for 2 turns and crit rate, which makes her very good because that crit rate could also stack 40%. GG. So yeah, her damage is going to be over doubled. I mean, it's going to be almost 4 times because this is 2 times and this is 2 times max. So yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good what they did with Maki. I'm very happy. These are the 3 units I wanted to talk about. These are the highlights of this batch. But I also think Nanami, Itadori, and who was the other one? Megumi and Mekamaru were done pretty well. But these 3, bro, we saw some insane stuff from these units being buffed. Geto, genuinely, now I would definitely say, in terms of damage, he is in this tier. He is in this tier. Because he lowers their damage, and maybe you could put him in support. I would understand, like, put him here, right? He is absolutely insane. He is definitely on their level, right? He's AoE damage increasing, single target damage lowering, right? And he's also becoming like Blue Gojo levels of nukes. It's insane. It's insane to think about. So I'm done. Let me know what you think of all these units. They're broken. They're broken now. Absolutely broken.